On the 24th of May, 2019, SpaceX launched a cargo into space using its new reusable Falcon 9 rocket. The cargo may look like an ordinary looking satellite. However, these are no mere satellites. These satellites are part of a project called Starlink. The mission was a success. Starlink was released from the cargo bay of the Falcon 9 rocket, and all of its 60 satellites are now in orbit on Earth. But what exactly is Starlink? SpaceX had many ambitious goals regarding space. A reusable rocket, a rocket that could launch both passengers and heavy cargo, called the Starship, and a plan to send a human to Mars. But how exactly will SpaceX fund these ambitious programs? That is when the concept of Starlink was created. The purpose of Starlink is not only to become a source of income to fund these missions, but to also provide the world with a faster and more accessible internet connection. As Elon Musk stated in his tweet, quote, "Will serve the least served." But how will Starlink achieve a faster and more accessible internet access? Starlink is a set of satellites that will orbit around Earth, covering most of Earth's landmass. According to the proposal SpaceX sent to the FCC, short for Federal Communications Commission, each satellite will cover a radius of 1,060 kilometers. For reference, that would cover France, Spain, and Portugal. It will also cover half of the United States. And due to the large amount of satellites orbiting around Earth, it mostly covers every landmass on Earth, except for regions up north. Not only do these satellites cover most landmasses on Earth, they have the potential to have lower latency speeds, or the amount of time it takes to transfer data from one place to another. According to a study performed by Mark Handley, a professor from the University College London, stated that the latency between New York and London is 46 milliseconds. Compared to that of Hibernia Express submarine cables, with the latency of 55 milliseconds. And for average individuals that reside in New York and London, the latency would be 90 milliseconds or less according to Verizon. However, to be more exact, the latency would be 76 milliseconds. Starlink achieves low latency speeds by taking advantage of space, since light travels faster in space vacuums, compared to glass, which is used in submarine cables. And Elon Musk stated in a conference on 2015, due to similar properties between light and data, data travels faster in a vacuum. In order to guide the data to its destination, lasers will be used to transfer data from one satellite to another, and the satellite located above the destination of the signal will beam the data to the surface. Starlink is located at low Earth orbit, approximately 1,110 kilometers, as stated in the technical information from SpaceX to the FCC. The reason to why the satellites are close to Earth is to provide a faster internet connection and minimize the latency of data. The reason to why the satellites are closer to Earth is to provide a faster internet connection and minimize the latency of data. Compared to geostationary satellites that has a latency of 280 milliseconds. Compared to low Earth orbit satellites with a latency of 30 milliseconds to 60 milliseconds, a huge difference in terms of latency speed. Because of Starlink's potential for providing a faster internet connection, the state-owned telecommunications company, Telkom, collaborated with SpaceX to provide Indonesia with an accessible and cheaper internet connection. As a result, Telkom created the Merah Putih satellite. The Merah Putih satellite is built to be compatible with Starlink satellites to bounce its signals. Mr. Chandra, an employee working with the Merah Putih satellite, stated that the internet provided by the satellite will cost 150,000 rupiahs per village, or a mere $11. This technology showed a lot of promise by providing the world with a more faster and accessible internet connection. Which raises the question, how will Starlink impact the world? Since Starlink provides a faster and accessible internet connection, the question could be narrowed down to, how does faster and widespread internet connection impact the world? Let us focus on three aspects regarding Starlink's impact on the world. First is economy, second is culture, third is politics. Internet is one of the many factors that contribute to the growth of a country's economy. According to a study conducted by OECD, or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, stated that the internet improves the economy of a country. The internet affects the economy of a country by improving consumer welfare, providing more services, larger variety of digital goods and services due to efficient search mechanisms. The internet also contributes in employment. The internet made significant improvements in information access or smoother searches in the labor market or recruitment. It generates a large volume of employment in IT sectors of the economy. It also provides flexibility in the labor market that could make it more productive. Through the internet, people could enter the workforce even if they don't have employment opportunities in their area. Additionally, the internet aids firms and its performance. The internet extends the reach and the communication of their market, reducing the cost of accessing suppliers or wholesale markets. The internet opens new ways of delivering products and services such as advertisements, e-commerce, and e-payments. It also aids in advertisements, gathering information from consumers and delivering products. It also makes transactions even faster and cheaper, increasing market efficiency. And it also allows for more interactions among market players. By reducing costs and vast communications, firms are able to work more efficiently. Furthermore, not only does the internet impact businesses and individuals, but it also impacts a country's economy or the GDP. The internet aids a country by saving electricity. By using smart grids, it leads to energy savings of 1.5 to 3.5%. This impact is huge as electricity consumption costs 4% of the GDP, on average, of all OECD countries. The internet increases healthcare efficiency by providing easy access to medical information, health records, medical journals, and information regarding patients. This reduces the costs of healthcare. Because of these factors, the economy of a country will grow. For example, Germany's investment into broadband technology. Over 10 years, Germany's workforce increases by an additional 968,000 jobs and an additional value of $230 billion. Furthermore, a study from McKinsey Global Institute supports the study provided by OECD. The study stated that the internet plays a factor in developed nations such as China, India, and Brazil. The internet contributed 7% of growth over the past 15 years and 11% over the past 5 years. Furthermore, the internet benefits the consumers as well. The internet allows consumers to compare prices of goods and find sales. As a result, online prices are 10% cheaper than offline products. This saves time and money of the consumer, encouraging more users. As a result, The economic surplus captured by consumers from web services alone ranges from $18 a month per user in Germany to $28 in the United Kingdom. The consumer surplus generated by the internet in 2009 ranged from $10 billion in France to $64 billion in the United States. The consumers and the government could also benefit with healthcare. Since the internet boosts efficiency and quality, a total of $300 billion could be earned. These statistics are taken from developed nations. What about developing nations, such as nations in Africa? According to the economic and private sectors, professional evidence, and applied knowledge, Africa's internet penetration, or the amount of people who uses the internet, has grown from 17 million users in 2005 to an estimated 172 million, making it the fastest growing region in the world in terms of internet connection. As a result, small and medium sized enterprises benefit from this, affecting sub Saharan economic development as they account for about 90% of all businesses. These enterprises took advantage of the internet due to it improving communication, access to information, and marketing. Consequently, it gives businesses and enterprises access to customers outside of their area, a cheaper marketing platform, lowers communication and transaction costs, and direct online sales, e-commerce. E-commerce has been growing rapidly in sub-Saharan Africa, that it is predicted that by 2025, e-commerce will account for 10% of total retail sales in Africa's main economies, or $75 billion in annual online sales. Furthermore, the internet also benefit agriculture. Internet connectivity estimates a 9% increase in farmers' income. A program in Senegal gave access of real-time data on local and international sales prices to farmers. As a result, farmers' incomes increased by 40 to 50% as of 2013. In conclusion, the internet impacts businesses by making communication, advertising, and commerce easier and cheaper for both consumers, businesses, and even the government. If Starlink were to be implemented and achieved its goal of widespread internet, there will be more users on the internet. These users could save money while buying products and find new jobs outside or inside of their area. Businesses have a wide range of consumers to sell their goods to and outside their area. The government's workforce increases and earn additional income for their economy. We've discussed the impact of the internet towards the economy, but what will happen if isolated individuals receive internet connection? Will it erase or aid their culture? How will the culture of indigenous people be affected by widespread internet? One of the barriers of the internet is its language, English. According to W3 Tech, the content language of the internet is 54.9% English compared to other languages on this chart. As a result, people who doesn't understand English are required to learn English to utilize the internet to their advantage. Because of this, individuals may assume that indigenous people who did have access to the internet will lose their cultural identity, as they will forget their cultural language if they spend their time on the internet. However, there are many instances of indigenous people reinforcing their cultural identity. According to the National Indigenous Television in Australia, indigenous people use Facebook to connect with each other. Consequently, these people connect with the youth and reinforces their cultural values as an Aboriginal. For example, the chiefs of the indigenous tribes use these technologies to their advantage as well. This is an example of a social media-based form of oral tradition, which is shared throughout the indigenous community, strengthening their culture through the use of technology. Other instances of cultural preservation through the internet is UNESCO's set of projects called ICT4D. These projects are designed to preserve the cultural identity of the indigenous people through the use of ICTs or information and communications technology, including the internet. These projects takes place where indigenous people who has little to no access to the internet, such as Africa and South America. The project educates people regarding the use of ICTs. The lessons learned in ICT is that it can be a significant tool to aid cultural preservation and revitalization in indigenous communities. It also promotes intercultural dialogue. According to a study conducted by UNESCO, indigenous people use the internet to share, spread, and enforce their cultures. For example, due to internet's nature of being widespread, the company Thornton Media created applications that teaches endangered languages. Thornton Media Inc. is a native-owned company that collaborate with Native Americans and Canadian First Nations. They collaborate with them to create an app that teaches children about native languages. Additionally, these apps also helped in preserving endangered languages. Furthermore, indigenous people produced film that educates people about their everyday lives. They showcase these films in film festivals that takes place in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. These films are then shared on the internet through Netflix, YouTube, websites, and public broadcasting services. This demonstrates how indigenous people use the internet as a medium to strengthen and spread their culture on others. Finally, how will widespread internet connection impact politics, the way the government runs their country, or how will the internet affect people's perception towards politics? One of the reasons people use the internet is to spread their ideas and coordinate with others. As a result, people could organize political events and even protests. According to a case study conducted by the Australian Parliament, political events, rebellions, and protests are coordinated and spread by the internet due to lack of control and the internet's widespread capabilities. For example, the Tupac Amaru movement used the internet to spread their beliefs. They set up websites to educate the readers regarding their movement and its goals. Furthermore, the Zapatista National Liberation Army in Mexico created an official website on the internet, educating readers their activities and goals. The website is constantly updated until today. Another example that is happening today is the Hong Kong protests. Hong Kong protesters used the messaging app called Telegram. According to Bloomberg, Telegram has been installed 1.7 million times in Hong Kong. Hong Kongers use these apps to help coordinate their protests and spread information about rallies. Additionally, according to the OECD, social media played an important role in the Arab Spring movement. As the social media is unregulated, the internet helped people express their political views and thought. The internet is also a tool that helped them organize rallies and protests. These are one of the examples of political freedom that the internet provides to the people. With Starlink, people could spread their political beliefs to the world. However, how will the government use widespread and faster internet connection? Governments around the world could take advantage of the internet as they recognize the economic benefits of the internet, such as transaction costs reductions, e-commerce possibilities, and foreign trade. However, due to the internet's capabilities of spreading information in a fast manner, regimes often find the internet as a threat to their regime's stability. According to the Washington Quarterly, Myanmar and North Korea are known to be dictatorship. Consequently, they see the internet as a threat to their regime. However, these regimes recognize the positive impact the internet has on the economy. Despite the economic benefits of the internet, these regimes chose to illegalize the internet. China, on the other hand, is different. China took advantage of the internet to improve their economy. However, to the nature of the Chinese regime, the internet is well regulated. According to the Washington Quarterly, China's telecommunications revenue increased more than 20-fold in 1990s and totaled $37 billion. However, it is important to note that the Chinese government invests a lot of money in forcing the internet to prevent the public from seeing content that opposes the Chinese regime. As a result, countries who does not allow internet access might struggle economically, and if these types of countries allow internet access, enforcing them would be quite expensive. For authoritarian countries, the internet is a double-edged sword. However, how does the widespread and faster internet connection impact other countries? According to the University of Maryland, it was stated that transparency and the right to access the government is internationally recognized as an essential tool for democracy. Government transparency increases trust from the public towards the government. The public could prevent corruption, informed decision making from the government, and accessibility to government information. Additionally, the government used ICTs such as the internet to prevent corruption, as ICTs allow citizens to promote good governance, strengthening reform oriented initiatives, reducing potentials for corrupt behaviors, and enhancing relationships between government employees and members of the public. By allowing citizens to track activities, monitor and control behaviors of government employees, and the decisions and actions made by government employees. And it was stated that nations across the Americas, Asia, and Europe have all claimed successes in reducing corruption through ICTs. There are many examples regarding the use of ICTs by the government to prevent corruption and increase their transparency. For example, Chile and the Philippines both have developed e-procurement systems that allow members of the public to actively monitor government bidding and contracting processes to prevent corruption in the awarding of contracts and grants. According to the World Bank, the Bhumi electronic land record system in India allows for citizens to monitor the process of transferring land titles. This greatly increases the speed at which records are accessed and updated. This also removes the chances of local officials to accept bribes, as had previously been rampant. The Online Procedures Enhancements for Civil Applications, or Open Portal, for the Seoul municipal government in Korea was designed to handle corruption. It allows members of the public to monitor the progress of their applications and what government officials are handling them. However, it was argued that due to a low amount of internet accessibility, government transparency isn't as effective nationwide. According to Charles Manfield, not a lot of people has access to the internet. However, hopefully with Starlink, more people are informed about their government and the laws that are enacted. As stated before, there are many positive impacts that the internet could provide to individuals, businesses, and the government. Economical benefits include cheaper communication and transfer speeds, increasing the efficiency of transactions and medical care, and technological advancements provides new jobs and positively impacts the economy of a country. As for culture, individuals could share and strengthen their culture through the use of the internet. As for politics, individuals could express their ideas and organize protests without the government knowing. And because of this, the government regimes hurt their economy by investing into internet censorship or banning internet completely, which hurts their economy. However, other countries use the internet to inform the citizens of laws, decisions made by the government, and prevent corruption. With Starlink, the internet infrastructure and users will increase, which brings many benefits for all.